Hey everybody, yours truly, Jedi Master Brevin Thompson, back again, this time to do a spoiler-filled review of Avengers Endgame. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video because it's going to be filled with spoilers! So that's your warning right there. If you don't want to know anything, watch the movie first before watching the video. So yeah, alright, we're going to be talking about the movie. 3, 2, 1, boom! Okay, so, as you might expect, I mean, this movie picks up immediately after the events of Infinity War, where Thanos snapped his fingers and half of all life in the universe disintegrates. Tony Stark and Nebula are still trapped in space. Well, they're later saved by Captain Marvel, and they head back to Earth, and then the rest of the Avengers find out where Thanos is. They plan to get the stones back so they can snap everybody back to the living, or I think that's the right way to say it. So they find Thanos, and they find out that they find the gauntlet, but he destroyed the stones. I mean, he said that he used the stones to destroy the stones. So Thor gets all pissed off and just chops his head clean off. When Rocket says, "What did you do?" and Thor says, "I went for the head," calling back to the ending of Infinity War. It wasn't. I mean, at first that wasn't at all what I was expecting. At first, I was expecting them to use the time stone to bring everybody back. I mean, I know a lot of people theorize that. I mean that something about the time stone and some stuff about the quantum realm, which I will get to later in a second. So they killed Thanos, and it takes a time jump to 5 years later, and I almost forgot to mention in the beginning ends on a really sad note for Hawkeye, because I mean, after Thanos snapped his fingers, his entire family disintegrates and leads him down to a darker path. I'll get to that later. So 5 years have passed since the snap, and I like that how Captain America was part of a self-help group, similar to what Falcon did in The Winter Soldier, and they're all trying to like move on. But even though he said, "I keep telling everybody that they should move on," some do, but not us. And I love that, because I mean, they're still trying to figure out a way to like bring everybody back. So Ant-Man, after a rat pushes a button and he now gets out of the quantum realm. I mean, he was trapped at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So he finds out that not everything is as the same as he was. I mean, before he was trapped in the quantum realm. Because he thinks, I mean, so time works differently in the quantum realm. So he finds out that after he gets out of the quantum realm, he finds out that that his daughter is still alive and now a teenager. So he goes back to the Avengers base and tries to explain to them that they can, with the quantum realm, they could possibly travel through time, and so their plan is to travel back through different points in time to get the Infinity Stones and snap everybody back. And I love that this movie focused more on Iron Man, like I said in my original review, and as well as Captain America. So in this movie, I mean, Tony has settled down. I mean, he's married to Pepper Potts. He has a kid now, and the quote, "I love you 3000" is something that was really powerful for this movie. I mean, and I see a lot of people on Facebook just using "I love you 3000," and it's really powerful. It really is. And I think I mentioned in my review that, I mean, what they did with certain characters wasn't what I was expecting at all. Mostly two of them being Hulk and Thor. with Hulk, he's sort of become like, I mean, he's Bruce Banner, but I mean, he's green and everything. So, I mean, he's big. I mean, he said that he spent like a couple months in a gamma lab and brought the brains and the brawn together, and all of a sudden he's Professor Hulk. I think that's what they said, how they put it. Um, it was a little weird, but I mean, that didn't stop me from enjoying the movie. And as for Thor, after, I mean, uh, his failure, uh, he, let's just say, he gained a little more mass. Mass of the gods! uh, so with his different shape, but I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And even when he shaped up for the, I mean, even during the final battle, when he just uses his magic to summon up his armor and then Stormbreaker, I mean, he's still, but I mean, and it works. It works, and I mean, I really liked this version of Thor, even though we've seen how far Thor has become over the years. So yeah, um, so they go through different points in time. They travel I mean, they split up into different teams. I mean, they have like Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, and Ant-Man going back to 2012 during the final battle at the events of the Avengers. And they have Thor and Rockets rewind a bit. Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and Ant-Man go to New York to get the Time Stone, the Space Stone, and the Mind Stone. So they figure, I mean, if they're in New York, around that time, there would be 3 stones for them to get. Even the Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One gets a little bit of screen time, which was a really nice move, and I really I loved her in Doctor Strange, and it was good to see her in Endgame. So, and she even does the astral projection move on the Hulk. I thought that was pretty awesome. And when Cap goes for Loki's scepter, he gets he goes to the elevator to get the scepter. What they did with this scene, I almost thought they were gonna redo the elevator fight in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, but he's like, it's all right. The secretary sent me. Hail Hydra. Oh, it's a reference to one of the. I haven't read much Captain America comics, but I've seen like bits of that on Facebook where Cap says "Hail Hydra." So yeah, I mean that was a little bit of fan service right there. He fights his past self, and there's many comments on the America's ass. So yeah, that was pretty hilarious. So they fail to get the Tesseract of the Space Stone. Loki escapes. So I think that's. I mean, I heard that Loki's getting his own TV show and everything. So I guess that's what they're gonna go with. I mean, but still, it was good to see Loki, even if it was a brief cameo. So now that they have the time and Mind Stone, they figure they would go that Cap and Tony would have to go back in 1970 to get the Tesseract and the first Shield base, which we later see in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Not only that, but they had to go to Hank Pym's lab to get more PEM particles so they can get back to the present. And there's a brief moment between Tony and his father, Howard Stark, and I thought that was a really touching scene. And there was also Stan Lee's last cameo. May he rest in peace. Yeah, that was, I mean, a lot of people cheered back in the theater when I first watched it, and uh, I was a little, I was tearing up a bit, but I was like, oh yeah, it was good to see him again. Um, so they got the stones. Thor and Rocket go to 2013 during the events of Thor: The Dark World to get the reality stone from Jane. I mean, because she sucked out all the ether and everything. So, and Thor has a brief conversation with his mother, which I thought was a really touching scene, and even takes Mjolnir, and he finds out that he's still worthy, uh, even though he's completely changed since Thanos. Uh, and and War Machine, Nebula, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. Well, I forgot to mention about Hawkeye. I mean, the scenes with of him in Tokyo, he's just killing a ton of bad guys and everything. It really changed. I mean, his character has really changed, and he's. I really like what they did with Hawkeye in this movie, and it makes you really care about the character. At first, I mean, he was. I mean, at first I thought he was okay in the first couple of movies, but I really did care for him in Endgame. I mean, after what happened to his family and what he's been going through over the years, and what happens later with Hawkeye and Black Widow, I'll get to that later. So War Machine and Nebula go to Mora to get the Power Stone before Star Lord could. Then something starts happening with Nebula with, I mean, I guess some kind of Wi-Fi connection thing. So Thanos now knows what they're up to, and because of seeing Nebula's memories and everything. So they capture future Nebula, and past Nebula takes her place when they head back to the present. Um, and uh, Black Widow and Hawkeye go to Vormir to get the Soul Stone, and that scene was very emotional. They both fight for who's going to be sacrificed for the Soul Stone, and at first it was confusing for me since they announced a Black Widow movie, and since she sacrificed herself, and it would obviously have to be a prequel because I mean I think it's coming out possibly next year, or I mean, I know a couple of other Marvel movies are coming out. I mean, they announced like two are going to be coming out next year, and three coming out in 2021, and another three in 2022. So yeah, we're getting plenty of other Marvel movies, even though this was the end of the Infinity Saga, as they're putting it. So yeah. Um, Hawkeye is really broken up about it, and he gets the Soul Stone after Black Widow sacrificed her life to get so they can get the Soul Stone. So they all head back to the present. They get the stones and they put it on an Iron Man gauntlet, and the only one strong enough to live through it is the Hulk, and he snapped his fingers and everybody's back. At least it appears that way. And the past Nebula summons up Thanos, and he blows he blows the entire Avengers base the fuck away. Oh, and I thought, well, I was like, oh shit. It was just, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, please don't die. So, so Thanos, after seeing Nebula's memories, he thinks that he originally thought that by wiping out half of all life, that the other one could thrive, and he thinks that the people who've survived will continue to mourn what they've lost, and now he wants to wipe out all of the universe so nobody would remember what he did. And this leads to, hands down, the greatest epic ending and also epic final battle in movie history. Everybody everybody comes back for the final battle, and we see Cap using Mjolnir, and we got a hint of it in Age of Ultron where it moved, it barely budged, but I was like, oh, is this like foreshadowing? But he was worthy, and Thor was like, I knew it, because I mean, at first in Age of Ultron, he was like, oh shit. So yeah, that was pure fan service, and. With everybody coming together, I'm talking like Spider-Man, the Guardians, Doctor Strange, everybody comes back, even Falcon and Bucky and all of them. And Black Panther, I mean, they all gather up, and Cap finally says, Avengers, assemble. I was like, thank you, because I've been waiting for him to say that, because we got a hint of it in Age of Ultron. I mean, where he says Avengers. I was like, please say it, and it was like, hopefully he'll say it in Infinity. I was like, hopefully he'll say it in Infinity War or Endgame, but I'm like, thank you. Even Pepper joins in on the final battle wearing an Iron Man suit, and I really like that, and they have all the female characters together, all in this one shot. I was like, oh, everybody except Black Widow, which was a little sad. There was a little brief conversation between Tony and Doctor Strange. He's like, you said out of 14 million, there's one we win. Tell me this is it. And he's like, if I tell you what happens, it won't happen. And I'll get to that later. And then Captain Marvel appears and destroys Thanos' ship. And we get, I mean, they showed how powerful she is, and she gets a little brief fight with Thanos, and I mean, all of them. I mean, they fight for the gauntlet, and he tries to snap. He was about to snap his fingers, but Captain Marvel stops him, and he tries to headbutt her, but she has like a force field and everything, so he takes the power stone and goes boom, and just she flies really far, and when Strange sees that, he just lifts his finger and he tells Tony, it's almost like this is our one chance. So so Thanos puts the Power Stone back on, and then Tony just he's struggling to like get all the stones back, and right when we think that Thanos was gonna do it again, I am inevitable. Clink. I was like, what? Then he finds out that all the stones are gone, and Tony has all the stones. I am Iron Man. And his Thanos' entire army just fades away, and then Thanos, another one bites the dust, another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. I'm sorry, I had to. I've been waiting to use that one for a while. So yeah. And as for Tony, I really teared up when he died. So yeah, it was, yeah, the man who started it all, the one who started the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he gets a funeral, and there's even a wreath with the old arc reactor that said proof that Tony Stark has a heart, which was shown in the first Iron Man, and I really enjoyed that. I really loved that. It was just. It was fan service, and I mean, everybody shows up, and even the kid from Iron Man 3, which I thought was really nice. So they all go their separate ways. I mean, Hawkeye returns to his family, and Thor leaves in the new Asgard and leaves. He lets Valkyrie become Queen of Asgard. And at first, I thought, I mean, where was she in Infinity War? I was happy that she survived. So he joins the Guardians of the Galaxy, which makes me question if he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But we'll have to see. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to. And so they send Cap back to return all the stones. And then that when they try to bring him back, they see an old man on a bench, and it's actually Steve when he's older, and he's like, after I returned the stones, I figured I'd have a normal life. So he married Peggy Carter and just had a normal life, and he later passes his shield to Sam Falcon. I thought that was a good move, and I was like, oh. At first, I thought it would be Bucky, but I mean, some of my friends originally thought it would be Bucky that got the shield, but it kind of, in moral-ish way, I think it kind of does make sense for Sam to get the shield instead of Bucky, because I mean, Bucky as the Winter Soldier done like a lot of bad things, such as killing innocent people. But sure, I mean, it was under mind control by Hydra and everything. So I think it made more sense for Sam to get the shield. So yeah, and the last scene with Steve and Peggy dancing was really emotionally satisfying, and it felt like the perfect ending for this 22 movie saga. And I really enjoyed Endgame watching it the second time, and it definitely in IMAX. It was just so much fun. So it's still the best movie I've seen so far this year, and I definitely can't wait for Spider-Man Far From Home. So yeah, really a lot to look forward to. Oh yeah. So anyway, thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll be sure to do more videos really soon. And I've also been recently, if you haven't seen my recent videos, I've been recently doing some gameplay videos for Mortal Kombat 11. I've been doing some online matches with my buddy Austin. So yeah, those are a ton of fun. So yeah, I had to get this off my chest, because I mean, there was so much I wanted to talk about, and yeah, it was just so much fun. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting my channels. I'll be sure to do more videos really soon, and thank you all so much for supporting me, and you guys are the best. And if you want news on the latest videos, you know where to find me.